Welcome to Journeys of Empowerment. I'm 𝗶𝗶𝗃𝗲𝗀𝗃𝗲𝗿. This is a space to slow down and pay attention to what is shifting beneath the surface. Through honest conversations with inspiring, impact-driven female founders, we explore the moments that change us, the questions that refuse to disappear, and the choices that quietly reshape the direction of our lives. There comes a point when what once felt right no longer fits. Not because you failed, but because you've grown. And somewhere beneath the noise, a quieter voice begins asking to be trusted. If you're drawn to the conversation that go beyond success and into what it truly means to live with clarity, courage and intention, you're in the right place. What if the longest journey we ever take isn't across countries or careers, but back to ourselves? And what if everything we've been searching for has been waiting there all along? In this episode, I sat down with Sneha Rani Augustine, founder of Happynut Tree, transformational therapist, and someone who chose to look beyond achievement to discover the person she had always been beneath the expectations. Together we explored what it means to untangle yourself from cultural conditioning, how healing unfolds layer by layer rather than all at once, and while embracing every part of yourself, even the parts you once tried to hide, can become the foundation for living with greater freedom. We also spoke about integrating science and spirituality, navigating neurodivergence, and taking full responsibility for creating a life that feels deeply aligned. She said it beautifully. Home is about coming back to my center. This one keeps returning. The answers were never outside of me. They were always within me. That reminder feels timeless. That coming home isn't about becoming someone new, but remembering who we've always been along. Let's begin. It's certainly not respectful. Oh, I pressed on record. Hi, Sneha.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited.
Me too. Well, it's very hot today. It's, I guess, above 30 degrees. So
yes.
The studio with a flat roof above us and no ventilation due to the sound of the ventilation is disturbing the microphones too much. But I think we will manage, right?
Yes. I was almost about to say, feels like home. I come from Kerala, so...
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Let's first envision the future. Mm-hmm. We step in a time capsule. And who do you aspire to become?
I think I aspire to become my highest version, whatever that is. And I think more than what I want to become, I only have certain rules around what to avoid maybe. Because growing up, there's been a lot of listening and following other people's opinions and demands. So moving forward in my life, of course, I want to embrace all those feedback and valuable lessons, but still decide for myself, is that still what I want to do? Is that what I want to become? And just be the best version of myself there is to come.
More on your... I'm reading between the lines.
Yes.
I think I hear more living on your own terms.
Living on my own terms.
Less distracted by opinions, obligations and expectations of others.
Yes. Also what to do, what are others doing, How would I do it?
Is that a sort of becoming a sort of default question for you?
I think so. Like even basic elements, like for example, every time I want to dress up, I'm asking myself, usually in the past I would think, oh, is this appropriate for the function? Is this appropriate? What will people say? Will this be too much? But these days I'm just waking up and asking, what does my body feel like wearing? What color am I feeling drawn to? What piece of cloth? Like, so today I was like seeing this, for viewers who are not seeing the video, like it's a green munde. It's very typical Indian, to be honest. And it's not something females wear. It's usually the men in my society who wear this. But today I just felt like wearing it.
And then just wear it. Of course.
Wearing it.
How does it make you feel?
The world didn't end.
No, but how does it make you feel?
Yeah, it makes me feel so free. So freeing and liberating, and it's cotton, so it also matches perfectly with the weather.
Yeah.
But just a tiny decision on what cloth I want to wear on my body, that itself can be so empowering.
Yeah. I see that. It comes from deep, right?
Yeah.
From deep, from deep within.
Yes.
It brings me to our central theme for our conversation, which enables us to come back to and try as sort of northern star during the conversation, and it's coming home to yourself. Now, as simple as it may sound, it's a deep one, right? It's a journey. It took a whole journey.
Yes.
Let's first unpack the word home. Where's home for you?
You ask so deep questions. I love this one. And luckily I was fortunate enough to do an exercise very recently about home. And we were doing this exercise because we were all expats in Eindhoven, coming from different places, different countries. And even many of us, maybe we were raised somewhere else, we grew up somewhere else, we studied somewhere else. So at this point of time, there are even moments where we think, hey, I've been in the Netherlands, I've spent more, years than what I've spent somewhere else. So in the beginning, I used to think home was more about a location and things like that. But with all of the healing that has been happening for myself, or also with the clients that I'm experiencing, I think home for me is my own center. My own center. I could literally draw a line from my forehead, my top of my head, going all the way, passing through the chakras. But it's just an energetic feeling for me. And I think the reason why I'm calling that home versus any location is because for a long time, having gone through a lot of traumas in my body itself was separate from me, So coming back to my body, feeling connected with my body, or even energetically, there are still moments where I know my thoughts and attention is everywhere else. And if I really bring it back to my center, my heart, not even my brain, sometimes it's my heart, sometimes it's my gut. And when I can really be all of me in that body, then home is wherever I am. If I can do that right here, right now, this is home. If I can do that in a beach, great, that's home. If I can do it in the middle of the traffic, that's also home. So home is about coming back to my center, feeling my authority, my power, that come what happen around me, I can always be home, safe here in my body. Wow. That's home now.
So are you always home then?
No, I think it's a skill to develop. At least for me, it was a skill that I had to develop. The closest I know is I can definitely feel home quicker when I'm with my husband and my daughter. Their nervous system can regulate me and make me feel safe. Otherwise, attunement. Yes, the attunement. Otherwise, given my nervous system or the traumas that I've had, it's been a lot of healing, a lot of intentionality, a lot of effort and discipline in returning my attention home, in saying that it's okay, I'm safe home. And I think like any other skill, as you practice it more and more, it's becoming easier and easier.
It's a muscle.
It's a muscle, yes.
And you said I've done a lot. Is it a sort of toolbox, and you still have to work on it each and every day, or is it a done sort of fixed stage?
Oh, beautiful. I think now we're talking about healing, and for me the last 12-13 years has been this messy, gooey, emotionally very intense kind of healing journey. Like, so for example, I have tried everything from going to psychiatrist, psychologist, shaman, ayahuasca, like everything I could try, like coaching therapy, dance therapy, music therapy, art therapy, drama therapy. Like, I feel like I've tried a lot of these healing modalities. And what I notice is, of course, like when you are in the deep end, all these modalities can help you improve, bring you closer. Yeah. But then the most important part is the integration. Like if you go for an ayahuasca, for example, you might get all these insights and deeper meanings and ideas, but what do you do afterwards?
Yeah, awareness without integration is still ending up in default mode.
Yes. So I feel like the integration things that you do, they can be part of your daily practice, or it could even be something that you need to come back to. But indeed, like a retreat or an ayahuasca journey or like all these things can also help amp up. But I think to sustain it, you need daily practices.
I like it. And I'm just pausing, reflecting on what you just said. That's the luxury of now above 80 plus episodes, that I feel far more relaxed to just pause and reflect. Because it's not about sending, it's about allowing and embracing what's just been said. And just trying to grasp, okay, what is the essence in all of it? What I believe is, it's a sort of conviction, is that all the real essential answers we're looking for are already inside of us, stored inside of us, awaiting to be unlocked.
You said that beautifully. Yeah.
Having said that, and seeing a resonance within you.
Yes.
If we look back all the way to little Sneha and look through the lens of your life, what were you looking for and what did you find? From early age on.
Little Sneha. I'm trying to feel her. Okay, so there are different perspectives from which I'm looking at it. So on one hand, I think little Sneha was very active, very talented, like always into dancing and drama and music and church choir and school captaincy and, like very active. So for the outside perspective, very active, trophy student, that kind of a person.
Achievement driven.
But I think deep inside for me, I was just a very curious person. I was very curious. So the curiosity is what makes me end up reading the whole encyclopedia. It's just curiosity because I want to learn. But that same curiosity is what I've always had towards nature and plants and animals. And so I remember, like, before I could even walk, there are stories of me going and hugging dogs and cow and calf. And like, so I think it is just curiosity. And it's also the same curiosity I've always had for people and their stories and their life experiences. So I think by the time I reached my teenage and things like that, that curiosity started becoming more and more about the psyche. Why are we the way we are? Why do we think this way? Why? What are our strengths, our weaknesses? What can we do, And I think one of the ways in which this curiosity of psyche was coming was also through theatrics.
Yeah.
I loved being on the stage for drama. Even I used to believe it was for all the claps of the audience.
Yeah, the reward afterwards.
Yes, but then I realized more than that, it is always about understanding that person. If I stand in that person's shoes, like, how are they experiencing life? What is different, So...
And by that, one question in between.
Sure.
Well, how did it, and if so, how did that help you also to better understand yourself? Putting yourself in the shoes of your character you had to play.
Yes.
You had to perform.
Yes. So to be honest, like I think until I got married, I never related that with my own experience. It was all different experience.
It was just acting your role.
It was just acting my role, but understanding that role from a different set of boundary conditions. So it was still play, but just that the boundary conditions have changed. And like, I still remember, like there were times when I was acting in the Hindi, Malayalam and English drama, and the roles would be completely different. In one, it'll be like a naive person, and the other, it'll be like bold mother, you know? And that really intrigued me. So I think looking at little Sneha, she was just a very curious kid who knew how her brain worked, who was very curious about understanding how the other brains are working. But I think the challenge for her was she could never understand, why am I thinking like this and why are they not thinking like that? So there was always that mismatch, which maybe made me a little rebellious at times.
Maybe a little?
Yes.
Why are you laughing? I'm just simply repeating your words. So how maybe, and how little was it?
So, like for example,
Explain rebellious.
Yes. I was somebody who believed that you marry somebody for love. It was like, come on, duh. You know, it was obvious for me. But growing up in a Kerala culture, it was completely forbidden. It was completely forbidden. So there was a piece of me which is like fighting, no, this is the guy I like, I'm going to marry him, you know, like for 5-6 years. But then when your parents emotionally tell you otherwise, that rebelliousness also makes way for sacrifice. So that is maybe a little rebel, but it always ended up in sacrifice. So this can be about love, like I said. It could be about career. Like, for example, I was always loving theater. I even had opportunities from movie or like series, like, you know, to act in certain roles. But that was also the time I got into the prestigious, in that sense, IIT. So the rebel in me was like, no, I'm getting an offer to act in a movie. I'm going to go there. But of course, my parents and relatives and everybody will be like, you don't know anything about the world. IIT is the thing to do, you know. So there is always a rebel who fights. But at the end, she used to give up and say, okay, I'm just going to do what my parents want me to do. Probably because I believed that they knew best. And they probably made the decisions based on what they knew best. But that was not necessarily what was best for me.
Hey, the rebellious side within you. I hope we can trigger that a little bit today.
Yes.
While we're having the conversation.
Yes.
So what makes me curious is, how much do you believe of that rebellious side, if you will, inside of you, is yours versus inherited?
Yeah. Beautiful question. I think on the periphery, a lot of it is already mine. And why I feel so is because the rebellion is always coming as after effect of inequality. Now, when I look back, I've always rebelled when things were not equal. Like, for example, why is it that a boy in the house can come back home after 6 p.m. but for a girl like me, like I would be literally punished if I reach home 1 minute later than 6, you know. So it was about equality in gender, for instance, or LGBTQ. Like, I was closeted for so many years, and deep inside, even when the legal rules of the country were against it, deep inside I've always felt love is love. Even from a religious point of view, I was thinking, hey, even Jesus is talking about love, so love is love. It didn't make any sense to me. So, yeah, it can be that. Yes. And And right now I feel like the things that I stand up for, it's always coming from inequality. So it's like gender inequality, inequality of the brain, that is the neurodiversity that I'm talking about. It could be inequality of, any other kind of inequality there is. That's what has made me a rebel. So I think majority of it is coming just by virtue of
growing up, seeing and observing, feeling, listening, and experiencing a lot of inequality.
Yes. That being said, I also want to take this moment and continue with your question about how much of it this is inherited. Because I wouldn't be able to rebel in the way that I am rebelling today if my mother didn't rebel in her own way. So for a woman of her generation, she had a career, her own career. She was able to give the best education to her children, support both her family and her husband's family. So it's also like I feel like I stand on the shoulders of people who have showed me the way. Like my grandmother, she was a teacher. So they built schools together, they built communities together. But of course, she did all this when the equality was, come on, forget about it. And still she did that. So I feel like every generation, it is getting better. So I wouldn't have been able to do this if they had not rebelled in their own way. And that is also exactly what is giving me the opportunity to let my daughter rebel in her own way. So, yeah.
How old is your daughter now?
11.
11.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. Are you already seeing some sides of your rebellious part in her?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Like I feel like, again, here it's coming from that inequality and need for being a rebel, right? So recently, for example, I was driving with her in the car, and there was this person who was not changing the lanes, and I was just stuck behind that person. And somehow I was like sort of manifesting out loud, hey brother, please move. And it's a very common statement in Kerala, like because like growing up, I've only seen male drivers, and on paper, I'm like an advocate for LGBTQ rights and equality and things like that. But my muscle memory somehow, it was like cheta on the ninga, which is brother, please move. And my daughter immediately corrected it and saying, Mama, how do you know it's a he? What if it's a she? Ooh. What if it's a they?
Ooh, 11 years old. Wow.
But things like this, like she's always done this at a younger age as well. And then she becomes the teacher. You understand? Like
she questions a lot.
Yes.
And that's good.
That's really good. That's really good. But she probably doesn't have to be like fighting and going on strikes for equality the way I did in my college, for instance. But I think in her generation, or maybe it's also because she's in the Netherlands, somehow she feels that she can rebel in safer and nicer ways, Yeah.
Beautiful. Let's unpack a few things. You've mentioned trauma. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by trauma, and what did you figure out along the way to navigate and cope, and what helped you? So what are we talking about?
Okay. So trauma for me, you can think about trauma in big T and small t trauma. And big T traumas are like car accidents, like deaths, war, like the big T. But what I've also learned in my own healing journey and also like with my clients is there is also the small t trauma. For example, I was doing a hypnosis with somebody who had fear of heights. And when we were looking at that person's childhood, like we were expecting some major, maybe she fell off from a building or something like that, right? But when we did regression, it's called, when we look at the childhood, early childhood, she was 6 months old, sitting in a high chair, and she fell from the high chair.
Wow.
And within few minutes, her grandmother came and hugged her and comforted her and everything. But for that child of 6 months, falling from that high chair, it caused trauma.
It's stored in implicit memory.
Yes, yes. And there are many others who might have fallen from this, like a similar high chair situation, but not everybody's nervous system is holding that as trauma and reacting in a certain way.
Circling back to you.
Yes.
What big T or small t trauma did you, have gone through? How do you say gone through?
Yeah. So I just wanted to set the context so you understand that trauma can also be like small and big. For me, I've had some big traumas. One in particular is like I was sexually abused when I was 4 years old.
No.
4 years old. Yeah. And that, back then I didn't realize it. I didn't even understand what was happening. So it was something that my mind knew there was something off about it. Because I remember I came back home and I was trying to share it with my dad because he was picking up from daycare and that's where it happened. But unfortunately, the people in the daycare, they were telling that, oh, Sneha's not listening to us. She's being a bad girl. She's not cooperating. You understand? So from my father's perspective, I was the one causing trouble to them. So even when this is a particular trauma that I've healed, layers and layers of it, one after the other. But like even recently, this came up into my conscious healing journey because, for example, this was the starting point of a lot of triggers that comes to visibility. There was a time in my college or school where I was always targeted.
Targeted? What do you mean?
Targeted.
Yeah, targeted. What do you mean by that?
Targeted in the sense that...
bullied? No.
Catcalling.
Oh, calling names.
Calling names.
Okay.
Or like even like attempts of sexual harassment and things like that. So that part was very strong, but also like in my college, people created morphed pictures of me, you know? Or like I had the social media account like Orkut. I don't know anybody who remembers Orkut. There was something before Facebook called Orkut. But then people would write all sexual comments on it and things like that, you know. So for me, recently as an entrepreneur, when I was really looking at my visibility wound, why is it so difficult for me to be visible, put myself out there? What came up for me is if I put myself out there, I could get abused. If I put myself out there, people can literally harm me, you know. And or if I put myself out there, I would be a bad girl and then my parents might not like me. So it's layers and layers.
Onion. It's an onion,
It's an onion. To be honest, like I feel now when I look back, that one incident, just that one incident made me hate men. Just completely hate men. You know? So there was a time when I feel in my teens, I was leaning more towards being a lesbian because I just couldn't understand or see men in that context. It really took a very safe male masculine energy for me to even understand my orientation because I was like, it was not the orientation that was having a problem. It was like there was so much of unhealed, unprocessed trauma around sexuality and men and whatever the rest of the journey that happened that I just chose to avoid that, you know. And now I feel like my sexuality is coming from a healed place where I don't have to say, hey, do I hate this because of the trauma that happened, or is it just is the trauma that is like stopping me from going to the next level? So now I've come out of the closet as a pansexual because, I connect at a human level. I don't see the gender.
No. Energy is the sort of connecting with energy.
Yes. Yes, it's the energy, it's the rapport, and it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, where you're from, what gender you are. It's, Yeah.
And what is the, how do we pronounce that right?
Pansexual.
Pansexual.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how does that feel? That you can openly
Ooh.
talk about that?
Yes. There is a part of me that was embarrassed even now. Even now, right now. But there is a major part of me that is feeling so safe and welcome and empowered and right and sovereign to just say that,
And self.
Sorry?
And self.
Yes.
Strong sense of self.
Yes.
This is me.
Yes. But there's still that element of embarrassment. And I think that's also what we both agree, I guess, because like healing, it's a lifelong journey. It's always there. But it's beautiful to see that the ratio changes, Once it was only embarrassment, shame and guilt. And slowly, that empowerment, that sovereignty started taking over. And now, like, even when I see that dot of embarrassment, it is just a souvenir from the past almost of what I've conquered, And there's always work.
Of course. Luckily there is, otherwise life gets boring easily, right?
Yes.
And when we talk about pansexuality, what is the journey towards realizing that? Do you say I am pansexual? What do you say? Well, how do you pronounce that right? Are you saying to yourself, I am pansexual, or I feel pansexual? What do you say?
I'm a pansexual.
You are a pansexual. That's why. Okay, and what was the path towards the realization and coming out? And because that's in and on itself a journey, right?
Yeah. So I think the path probably started with that trauma and hating men and things like that. So even when I was hitting puberty, and this was not the only sexual abuse I've faced. So there are multiple, big, small, So that completely destroyed my journey in that sense. But I think compared to the other girls around me, it also made me more alert about these things, or more I wanted to study more about it. So these kind of topics, it's always in my priority.
When you talk about these kind of
like
topics,
sexuality or like or even abuse and like what happens and the psyche and the emotionality or anything to do with that, I was always very sensitive to learn and understand and figure out solutions together. And I think so growing up, as a teen, my orientation was like completely into a lesbian kind of philosophy. But then again, like things like that, like you would never discuss in an Indian context with your classmates. So I've always felt like left alone because I can't openly share all these things. And it's when I was like 17, 18 that I had my first official boyfriend, so to say, who was a safe human. And that's when I realized that, okay, I have other feelings. It's just that they were blocked by trauma, and safety brings it out. So I think from that moment I was open, but only to him. Like I came out of my closet for the very first time in my life, but to him. And that was it.
How was that? Was it a conversation? Was it gradual, or was it just an announcement? How did that go?
I think he always sensed that I was different. And then I think we started discussing traumas. He made it so safe for me to discuss my traumas. And it's only through this discussion. Because on one hand, a trauma destroys you. But on the other hand, a trauma also molds you, crafts you.
If it not breaks you, it makes you.
Yeah. Or it breaks you apart completely and then remakes you with all the broken pieces into a different way. So that opening up actually I think led to this conversation. So like when I got married, like in 2013, like I was I told this to my husband, and for him also, like, yeah, it's okay. It was absolutely fine. But that's it. These were the only people who know about it, And in ASML, it just so happened that I was selected to be part of the core committee of the Canal Pride for that year. So I was really responsible for organizing the Canal Pride together with a few other members.
And did you apply, or was it coincidence?
It was a coincidence.
Oh, wow.
It was a coincidence.
Life is teaching you something,
yes,
right? Or pointing a direction.
Exactly. I would have never expected it. And these are moments where when you look back, how universe is like synchronicity. Exactly. And even there, like, there were people who were like out of the closet by then, so I was like longing to do and be the things that they are doing, but I never had the courage.
And to be clear also for the audience, at that moment you've been only coming out of the closet to your husband.
Yeah.
And not to the outer world.
Nope.
So you were internally in ASML, where you worked at that.
Yes.
In what role did you work there?
Quality department.
Yeah.
Okay. Change management. Yeah.
Change management. Okay. And then you got selected to be part of organizing the Canal Pride.
Yes.
And then.
Yes.
Wow.
I just realized coincidentally this T-shirt I'm wearing is a white T-shirt with semiconductor and heart-shaped designs.
Yeah.
It is actually from the Canal Pride itself.
Wow, beautiful. But it's never a coincidence. Do you believe it's a coincidence? Because you are very, very, very aware. I don't believe this time it's a coincidence. And also the bracelets and everything is so.
Yeah. And it's June. We are talking about Pride in June, of course.
Yeah, of course. So coincidence. Sneha, good story.
Yes.
But but then you got involved into organizing the Canal Pride.
Yeah.
Within your role at ASML.
Yeah.
And then what?
During the Canal Pride itself, you have this sea of love, of people wearing pride, whatever they feel like wearing, like man, woman, any gender, every race, every possible combination you can think about. The entire area is like a beautiful sea. It's a wave of love, of acceptance. And even during that day, there were moments where I was like, I have to come out. Because like there was a part in me which didn't feel accepted. There was a part in me who was not accepted even by myself, So I think that feeling of I need to come out was a much stronger, deeper sense of almost identity reclaiming, authenticity reclaiming. But even then I was like, no, I come from an Indian background. I'm married. I have to think about my daughter. Those were the thoughts that kept me. So it took some time. But finally on October 11th, 2020, October 11th is coming out day. And as it started getting closer and closer, I was like, I have to do something. So we basically ended up making like a home video where I was just coming out from my closet and just saying, I'm a pansexual. That's it. That's the whole video. But just together with my husband and my daughter. And I just put it up on YouTube and shared it with my parents.
Oh, how was that?
That's how I came out.
Oh, wow.
That was
Did you in real life, or did you share it with your parents in video?
I just shared it in a WhatsApp group and called them immediately after they saw it. They were shocked. And they were like, they couldn't understand pansexual in the beginning. So they were like, then we had to say like bye, or like for them to get a understanding, or like, I don't care about like men or women. And then, to be honest, I feel like they didn't care either at that point of time, because in their mind, oh, she's married, she has a kid now, we're safe, So it is a bit of I was disappointed that they were not more, they didn't care more. But I think from their point of view, it was okay. Like I was married, I was having a child, it didn't affect any
of the boxes for them.
Yeah. but it was just more understanding. Okay, yeah, we've always known that she's a weirdo in that sense, or whatever sense. So it just gave them a little flair of, okay. But even now, I don't think they completely get the full picture, or it just doesn't affect them.
Maybe that's also okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I completely agree.
We all navigate. I just finished close the book,
and
it's called Being You.
Yeah,
and it's written by a neuroscientist, and Anil said. And one of the things what struck me is that we live in a world in a sort of, we navigate through life in a sort of controlled hallucination. And everything we see, we can look at the same picture, but we perceive it differently.
Yeah.
And through our lens.
Yes.
And our upbringing.
Yes.
And our beliefs. And our values.
Yeah.
So I think the highest possible, and then you have the generational differences.
Yes.
And then you have the cultural differences. And then you have the expectations and opinions based on the values and so forth and so on. I think the highest form of, taking in such a profound information is that you don't have to necessarily agree or approve.
Yeah.
But acceptance.
Yeah.
That whatever it is, unless it's hurtful for someone, but that it's your life.
Yeah.
It's your love.
Yes.
For yourself and for others.
Yes. Yeah. I think I want to add, like, the disappointment that I was talking about with them not caring enough. That's also like a thing that I've been working on. Like, even with my decision right now to leave corporate completely and start my own, being a transformational therapist, there was a part of me which was afraid to do it because I really cared about how much they care about it. So all my life I remember like how much my parents struggled, because coming from a lower middle class, how much they had to struggle financially, effort, time-wise, to put me through the best school, to get all the extracurricular education and things like that. So there was a part of me that was like feeling like I owe them for being in ASML, which probably is true. But because of that same owing, like, I wasn't allowed to leave, you know? And it's only after I decided to leave and I told them, and again I felt like it's okay for them, or they don't really care as much as I thought they would care.
But what made you decide to leave? If it's such a ingrained thing in you to be there in corporate and a career and the accolades and the achievements, and what made you, at what point did you decide? So there was a clear aha moment and coming out moment, nudged by your involvement in the 𝗓𝗏, right?
Yeah.
Organizing it.
Yes.
What made you, what then came on your path and made you decide to leave your quite comfortable paycheck, corporate life, safety, security? What made you decide to do that?
So one of the things was definitely understanding the involvement of my parents and their voices in my head. And in two ways, like, for example, the parents who my parents are both alive and well right now. And right now, as human beings, they only care about, like, me being my best version, like, however that is. That is what they care. But the voices I had in my head of them, they were more critical. They were more controlling, you know. So I had to make peace with that. So that was happening as a result of all this. But also internally, I started feeling like there were a lot of things that I was seeing, but the rest of the team was not somehow seeing the same things. So that brought a little bit of frustration to my journey, because, like, that means that after a few months or years, I would just have to say, yeah, I told you so. I told you so. It was only later that I got my diagnosis that I am autistic. and I also have exceptional giftedness. So that means
Can we unpack both of them a little bit more?
Yeah. So with the impact it has is, I think with my version of autism, I tend to see things more black and white. So if somebody says, hey, these are the things that we need to do to be a best team or whatever, like I'm like really thinking, okay, let's do that. You said we are going to do this. I take it like literally, like I'm not, yeah. So it can be that black and white thinking, but also with the exceptional giftedness, now it makes sense why I was excelling at all my studies, because it was easy for my brain to understand. But that is also the same thing that brought a lot of challenge in my life, because I was thinking everybody in the world is seeing things the way I'm seeing, but people are not.
Only to discover that it's not the truth.
It's not, yeah. So there was a point in time where I was even like feeling, why is that person not doing it this way? It's so obvious. Why can't he see it, So there was a part of me which felt like people were seeing certain perspectives, but they were just not doing it. It took me the diagnosis to really understand that, no, my brain is wired differently, and also like need of equality and things like that. It's way stronger for my psyche because of all these things. But how do you say? So on one hand, it was understanding who I am and my diagnosis and my masking, the coping mechanisms that you exhibit, and the kind of pressure that it puts, because you're performing every day at work. You're not being your best self.
Putting on your mask.
And when you come back home, you're drained. There were days I couldn't even get a glass of water for myself because I've spent it all for the company.
Energy for the company.
For the company.
Looking in a certain way and acting in a certain way, which you assumed is expected.
Yeah. So I think the journey it was not like one aha moment. That was like definitely a starting, but then multiple attempts of burning out, but also getting a diagnosis, and also like coaching and therapy. At one point of time, we really decided, for me, with my personality, with my skill set, with my weaknesses, with my character flaws and everything, like the whole of me, we decided that, okay, it would be better that I'm my own boss. So an entrepreneurial journey was for me a feasible option. I'm not saying everybody with autism or giftedness should do the same, or ADHD even. You can make great entrepreneurs, but you have to really think, is that what's right for you, your situation. So for me, I think the calling came after my diagnosis. And I think because the last 10 years was also about learning and healing and psychology, I was already into psychology, I was already learning about all these things. So at some point of time, it also made me clear, hey, my brain or my mind likes psychology more than engineering. Of course, I can be good at both, but there is a clear preference. So yeah, I think it is.
It clicks.
It's clicked slowly. It's not like a...
No, not a sudden aha, but slowly, gradually.
Yeah. And like you said, the synchronicities kept coming. And sometimes, like when a door closes, you can push and try and open it with a lot of force. But sometimes that is maybe a protection. It's a blessing. It's a detour in the right direction. So
let's circle a little bit back to what you've said. I hear somewhere a sort of the inner critic popping up. When you say character flaws. What are we talking about? Character flaws. Who is judging the character? Who is deciding if it's a character flaw? What is for you the definition of the flaw?
Beautiful.
I struggle with the word flaw.
Yeah.
I don't like it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's judgmental.
Yeah.
And and that in on itself is judgmental about judgmental.
Yeah,
but we can go out, or we can spiral down the rabbit hole. But I think you grasp what I mean.
Completely agree.
What do you mean by flaw?
Yeah, I think. So I think when I was using the word flaw, it was also together with also the positives and the negatives. Yeah. And I I'm okay with the way word flaw for me, because like there is this quote I keep advertising. It's called imperfectly perfect. And it is actually written, this word was written, was written by my daughter when she was like 8 or something. And she is dyslexic. I'm also dyslexic. And the way she wrote it was like imperceptibly percept. So even in there, you see the words jumbled up, but you can still get the meaning, right? If you look at it, you'll still be able to read it and totally understand it. So for me, that flaw, I'm putting air quotes here, is the beauty. That's why I like sharing that quote. It what creates that, how do you say, that character, that
sense of awe.
That sense of awe, yeah, that's curiosity, that playfulness. So for me, every time there is in my head, flaw is just what society defines it as.
What society defines.
Yes,
yes. That's what I hear. That's what I heard. That's the reason why I would love, and why I like to circle back.
Correct.
And I was like, hey, but Sneha, come on.
Yeah.
You are the rebel. You are the rebel. Who's judging? Who's judging?
Yes. So if you look around in nature, look at this beautiful tree. Like, do you say that, oh, it's not straight, so it has a flaw?
No, it's an Indian banyan tree. It's the tree of life. It's a beautiful tree,
exactly.
Right? It's strongly rooted in the Indian soil.
Exactly.
It's diverse in its width of leaves and branches.
Yeah.
It's ready for the sun. It's steady for the wind. It gathers a lot of rain if it's raining.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, right?
How can it have a flaw?
It's flawless, of course.
Yeah. I was just noticing, like, my mundu that I'm wearing, it has an edge where the thread was falling off. And there is a part of me which is like, it's a flaw, it is not stitched properly. But then there is also curiosity, because now I have these beautiful frill kind of areas in it, which wouldn't have happened if the thread didn't.
It's authentic.
Yeah.
The other version with the stitches would be perfect, but this is imperfectly perfect, right?
Yes. Beautifully put. So I should have put the air quotes, but it's like the flaws that when you work with other people, they might say flaws. And it's still up to me to decide, is it a flaw because of their perception, or is it really like something that I can correct and improve? Because of course we all have those things too.
Of course, and work in progress we are, and the curiosity is the driving force behind it, right?
Exactly.
If you look at your journey, and when it comes to a big concept of acceptance, what were you struggling with in your 20s? What you're now accepting from yourself?
I think my life till 24, when I was in India, the thing that I couldn't accept about myself was that I was too bold and courageous as an Indian female. And I think everywhere I've been, people are like, don't shine too much, don't be too much, or don't be too bossy, don't be too critical, don't speak up. Like it was always about that, but also because of the things that I had, like what I had to endure. I also felt it coming from within me, Don't be out there, don't do those things. But again, because I was a rebel, I did have some opportunity to be all of that. So in my 20s, the guilt or the lack of self-love or all those in me was telling me, nah, be like the other girls, be like the other woman, like mellow down, sit with your legs crossed. So it was all about, why am I different? So there was no acceptance around, I am this way, but it was more about, why can't I be like other people? Why can't I just be like a normal person? Why am I attracting so much of attention to myself? So it was all about fitting and being less. And I think
downsizing yourself, downplaying yourself.
Yes, yes. The visual I always get is like, imagine a star asked to fit into a round box or something, but it has to remove its corners, the very thing that makes it a star. You know? So I think it was years of that. And to be honest, the last 13 years, in Netherlands also, it was even worse. Because now you're a mother, you're a wife, you have expectations from the society. There are, of what is expected out of you. So even in that phase, I feel like the acceptance that I didn't have was, why am I not like the others? It's only by coming out of the closet or understanding my neurodivergence or slowly, a few years back, I would have never worn a munde, I would have never worn a bindi that I'm wearing today. It's also embracing my cultural roots. It's also understanding the ancient wisdom and embracing all those parts of me which I had left to beautifully fit into this round white world of my own creation, so that's the acceptance that I gained now. That all these parts which I thought were not good or some things to be ashamed of, these are maybe my most valuable parts, or maybe these are the parts that makes me me.
That in and on itself is the most invaluable part.
Yeah.
Right? You being you.
Yes.
Is there still a part in you what you're trying to hide? The tendency to hide? Yeah.
Okay. I can address a little bit of the struggle right now because, so on paper, I have a clinical psychology degree. I have 𝗍𝗶𝗵 qualified, hypnotherapy, all those things are there on paper.
You're ticking the boxes.
Yeah, ticking the boxes. But I'm also very spiritual. I do astrology, I do tarot reading. I myself had a Kundalini awakening, So there are also those parts of me which I cannot hide. But I think right now the struggle that I'm having is, let's say when I take Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube, there is, whichever coach I go to, they're always asking me to niche down. Show only the therapy side, show only the coaching side. Do not talk about the astrology, do not talk about the tarot, because that's what the algorithms are favoring, or that's the best practice in the coaching world. So I think right now my struggle is how much of that spiritual side to hide or show. And again, I think I'm more debating on the question of what do you mean by hiding? Because for me, the kind of sensitivity that I have, if I take it away from my LinkedIn tagline itself, that is hiding for me. But that's how intensely I'm feeling it, But people might say, it's okay, you can leave it in your about section, or maybe in your website, or maybe in Instagram you can do that, but in LinkedIn don't do that, So right now, that part of me is what is being debated, what is being scrutinized.
So inner struggle.
Inner struggle.
Now move into a time capsule with me, and we move 10 years later.
Yeah.
So we're now in 2036. What would be your single piece of advice to the 10 years younger you? So the here and now, what would be the single piece of advice around that struggle? Society and algorithms and but I'm not only the therapist and psychologist, but I also believe in tarot. I believe in spirituality. I want to blend. I want to focus on a holistic therapy instead of one-side angle therapy, if you will. Yeah. What would be the advice to the 10 year younger version of yourself? So we're now in 2036. And you can strike, you can give whisper one piece of advice in the ears of the 10 years younger you.
Baby girl, you know who you are. You know who you've always been. This is all of you. And everything about you is exactly what makes you complete. Everything about you is the light that you're meant to shine in this world. And it is exactly that light that is going to bring you your aligned clients, aligned collaborations, partners. But it's also the light that is going to feed your inner being. So don't be afraid to shine your light, because the world needs to see more of it. Wow.
I think you've solved the struggle right here, right now.
Hill, this is beautiful. Like the way you asked me the question, I intuitively just closed my eyes and said this. Like if it was to my daughter, I wouldn't have thought twice, you know. If it was to a friend or a client, I wouldn't have thought twice. But to me, it is still a lot of work in progress.
Luckily, this is broadcasted. You have now a lot of more accountability partners who are going to closely look at you.
Yes.
And the algorithms are only there to focus on what is now a sort of, if you will, hot or niche enough or whatever.
Yeah.
But a holistic approach to life is the future.
Yes.
And your holistic approach to life is what the world needs. So what are you waiting for? Who's keeping you from doing the things you love the most in the way you love to do them? Who's keeping you? Society or you?
Me. Yeah. There are these moments when I thought like the cage is outside, you know? So you leave the corporate, you do that, then you're out of the cage. But it took me years of my own healing journey to understand sometimes the cage is also within you. Like, for example, my parents' expectations, like how they see my own life right now versus what I had created inside my head, thinking that, oh, this is how they would be thinking, or this is what their expectations are.
We assume.
We assume, yeah.
And that's the interesting part. What intrigues me and fascinates me is that 9 out of 10 of my clients, when I ask, when we're talking about the inner critic, which voice is the inner critic using? Which voice do you hear? 9 out of 10, it's mother
Parents,
or father
teachers.
Or teacher and or
elder brother, sister,
elder brother. It's never a voice they don't know.
Correct. And I think like there is also a time, at least for me, it happened where the voice became my voice. And I couldn't even understand that, hey, this is not even my voice. It's just me picking up somebody else's voice and repeating it. And I've been repeating it for as long as I can remember, that it has started becoming my voice. But it was never my voice to begin with. And beautifully said, like I feel like, every time, I also do therapy still. I still do therapy.
Very good. And I think every therapist should do that.
Yeah. Because there's always layers of healing. And
why did we become a therapist in the first place?
Exactly.
I'm a traumatologist, and I did that a postgraduate from 𝗵𝗲𝗃𝗲𝗃𝗲𝗵, the author of The Body Keeps the Score, Trauma Stress Studies. And of course I did that out of personal curiosity after decades of therapy and going to psychologists, psychiatrists, practitioners, and always thought, okay, I feel there is a layer deeper to go. Yeah. And then, but we do that from perspective also to heal ourselves, right? Yes. And by healing yourself, you're much more able to heal or helping others heal themselves.
Yeah.
And wow, what a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely right. And in situations like this is when you realize that sometimes the voice is, it's been there, it's there. Even if you've left the cage, there is another cage, the mental cage that you've built, which you need to release. And sometimes for the body, I also feel like it's not just talk therapy. It could be something more. Like this is when like retreats can help, psychedelics can help. There's one modality that I do called spinal flow technique, where you're actually on the massage table and we work with the nervous system directly. Those kind of things, like you don't even talk, but the kind of relief that you get, you don't know what left you, but it's still a nervous system regulation. So we need these modalities. We need to work together with our body, with our subconscious, with our soul level, if you will, to actually get and liberate ourselves from this cage that we have created. And then what a beautiful world it feels like.
It is. You've mentioned also spiritual awakening. What does that mean?
Okay. So I was raised as a Catholic.
Yeah.
And a very proud Catholic at that, because many people don't know this, but the Kerala Christian tradition boasts that we got direct messages from Saint Thomas, one of the 12 disciples of Jesus. So we've been there for 2,000 years, So there's a lot of prestige and pride associated with it. I have cardinals who are directly in my family. My aunts are nuns. I have priests in my family. So that's the background I come from. I was always part of the church choir, very religious, so to say. Summer camps will be like Bible camps, that kind of growing up. But luckily, I was fortunate enough to learn Carnatic music and classical dances like Bharatanatyam and Mohiniyattam. So there you do encounter like the Hindu concepts. And I think growing up in Kerala, the beauty of communal harmony and like having friends who are Muslims and Christians, and it's beautiful, But again, growing up with an IITian brain, again, there also pride comes in, and you're like, oh, I'm very scientific. I'm from the top universities in India. So if I'm scientific, I cannot be spiritual. It was like that. And here, when I was going through my deepest, darkest, painful phases, like my depression and burnout that I experienced, that's when I slowly started getting these synchronistic messages, When I wanted to dance, like I was just dancing with Shiva's music on, or so slowly there were these coincidences. And then if you do things like ayahuasca, you will feel things different, and you will start realizing that there are layers beyond which our normal brain and psyche and sense organs
different
can understand.
Frequency.
Yeah, there's something beyond it. But even then, I think it was my skeptic, analytical person who came in and was like, prove me.
Yeah.
Prove me.
And what is the proof now then?
The proof is spirituality is real. And when I say spirituality, I am talking about like the plants, like the animals. We are also beings in this large cosmos, and we have a role to play. And I think religion is just the finger pointing. And if you can understand what is it pointing towards, then whatever religion it be, or just by your own understanding, you can live a more intentional life. And when you do that, you're automatically spiritual, in my point of view.
Thank you. Circling back all the way to our central theme, coming home to yourself. You're now a transformational therapist. So having spoken about the struggle, okay, should I blend everything in it, or should I keep it out and make it a niche? Let's say you have to decide for yourself, and you are going to decide for yourself what for me is a transformational therapist. What transformational therapist do I want to be? What is for you the transformational therapist? And when should people reach out to you?
Yeah, beautiful. I think the way I'm handling my clients right now, I'm really happy about it, because what I'm offering is that, be it hypnotherapy, be it astrology, tarot reading, clinical psychology, these are all tools. The ultimate goal is to help you reclaim yourself because the answers are within you. There's a lot of conditioning that might have happened. There might be a lot of incidents that made you think otherwise. But if we can slowly untangle it and heal it, and certain things we also need to really, draw the boundary. But once you do that, you have everything in your capacity to come home to yourself. So when I have my clients, usually the first session is like a coaching session, but based on their inclination. If they are spiritual, I might offer them more the spiritual tools. But if they are I also have atheists, and then we have the other tools. So usually they come to me and then we decide what works best for them. And I'm so happy that I have all these modalities to offer them.
Toolbox to offer.
Yeah. What is also very strange is I'm catching my own judgments, because sometimes I might go to a high achieving employee somewhere in a company like ASML or Philips, and I might be expecting they are more interested in clinical psychology or mentoring or ICF, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm really interested in your tarot reading. Can we do a tarot session?" So I'm also catching myself, my own judgments about who might be interested in what.
That's interesting. The third principle of the podcast is stay open-minded while having my own opinion.
Yeah.
So not holding, because holding is rigid.
Yeah.
For me, having is the openness to have it.
Yes.
But
but
stay open-minded while having my own opinion.
Yeah.
And I really believe in, if we are all able to do just that, life would be such a more liberating experience than it is right now.
Yeah. Beautiful.
We're living in each other's expectations, obligations, opinions.
Yes.
And we assume also a lot.
Yes.
If there's one clear message for the world from you to bring to the world, what is the clear message from you?
The thing that just came to me, I feel like this is Jordan Peterson, or I think it's his, but somehow I feel like saying that. That's what came to me, and I'm just going with the flow here. Imagine you have one human being to take care of. You are responsible for their health, their well-being, their career, their everything, their finances. You're responsible for this human being. You are responsible to make sure that they follow their dreams, they reach their best version. And this human being is not your spouse. This human being is not your kid. This human being that I'm talking about is you.
Is you.
And that's the most important human being that you are truly 100% responsible for. Everybody else, including your spouse, including your children, you can only support them. You can only help them find their way back to their home, whatever that is. But 100% responsible for the human being that is you.
Beautiful. It makes me think of the Stoics. It almost sounds as a Indian Stoic philosophy. Stoicism.
Possible.
That we are responsible for our own acts. Agency is also what I hear. I hear agency. I hear acceptance. We touched upon so many beautiful concepts. I think I'm also getting reminded of the concept of dharma and karma even. If I'm responsible for myself in this life, then I'm also responsible to make sure that I follow my dharma, the mission or my purpose in this world, in this body,
what am I here to do, but also my karma.
What do you want to leave?
What do you want to leave? Yeah.
And what is your dharma then for you?
For me, it is about bringing healing. It's becoming more and more concrete, even from an astrological point of view and things like that. Now all the skeptic experiments that I've done, it's pointing towards that, bringing healing. Just don't know how or what or when or in what way. Because sometimes you can also bring healing to somebody else by you being yourself. There are times when if I go dressed up the way I want to dress up, because just to make I feel like it. I also feel like there are others who might say, hey, I love the way you've dressed up. Now this is sort of giving me permission to dress up or also wear munde or also wear my colors or, So it could be even in the little things that we do. We don't know. And vice versa. I also learn a lot from my clients. So, we're all leading each other home.
Is there some sort of one thing you learn from working with your clients? Maybe about yourself?
Yeah. One thing I was struggling with a lot is, again, with the giftedness, you can see certain patterns, you can see certain goals, you can see certain steps. So there was a time when I was really wanting certain clients to take the next step, But with a lot of humility and grace, I was able to learn that, that's what you want for them. They are responsible for their own life and they get to plan, they get to make the decisions. Your role is just to guide or support or advise, but it's still their life, their responsibility, that human is their 100% human. Yeah, so I think that was one of the biggest things that I learned to really...
So let them control their path instead of starting to control their path.
But also, where is that coming within me? Why am I so bothered about that? So that also opens up...
Did you find the answer to that question?
Yes. So I'm like the big sister of all my cousins. So from a very young age, I've been given the responsibility to take care, make sure, that they're literally like my children, on both sides. I'm the eldest. So it is that big sister element where I genuinely mean well for them and want to see them progress. But that is a boundary I had to also learn for myself. Yeah. And those things you just take it for granted, right? You don't realize it. But because it was so difficult for me, I really had to sit with it and find out. And this is what came in.
Well, heading towards the end of our... maybe first conversation we will have is we're also videoing it with your camera. Am I already allowed to share why we are recording it also with your camera?
Let's do that.
Why? So tell me, there's a camera, and really beautiful camera, professional equipment beaming or filming us.
Yeah.
And what is your sort of plan in near future?
Yeah, okay. So, two things came out of it. One is who am I as an entrepreneur? Yeah. So, with the ADHD, I am very creative, but I can also be all over the place. And that also means that I'm sometimes spread too thin, or I might also forget certain things, So, I think this is me trying to teach myself how to be an entrepreneur. I love when I'm going free flow, what we are doing, instead of having a rehearsed script. So this for me is me at my most authentic self. So I was let's capture that.
Let's capture that.
And I think I loved what you also wrote in your 2-pager about how this conversation is going to be. And
hopefully,
it
is.
I think, So that's the first part.
Yeah.
And the second part is I'm also... this is the first time I'll be sharing it. We're also planning to start our own podcast. So this is also just to get a feel of things. Of course. And
And what will be the sort of theme for the podcast?
So the studio is set, and the name has been simmering between me and my husband, who is also the COO, CTO, everything else.
Yeah.
I think it's Our Story. I think the title is going to be something like Our Stories or My Story or something like that. And again, like we also want to do it this way, to have the beautiful raw, authentic, unscripted, whatever flows in this conversation. So this was very inspiring also to learn from.
Yes, and I believe there is a space for you awaiting, and also imagine yourself. Maybe this is the last question I would love to ask, and sometimes I just do that.
I'm loving your imagination. Questions.
Imagine we are both on a very big event. I'm in the audience. You are taking the stage. What is your big idea you're going to bring across? And what is the outcome you would love people to leave with?
Yeah. Interestingly, you were on the stage with me. Not an audience. Yes. I feel like I've been having this, again, like I'm having these callings. And when these callings come, I usually just let it sit. And I'll ask the universe, if this is really meant for me, give me 3 signs or something like that, So when the time is right, when the opportunities are right, it'll just happen. So there is something that I've been thinking about. And it's like more like a holistic wellness festival.
Wow.
Yeah. So because like a lot of people still only know therapy as in psychologist, but there's much more beyond that, and so many
life
different
is
flavors.
Therapy.
Yes. So I want to bring all these different aspects, elements all together, including spirituality to clinical psychology, the colors.
Yeah,
the
I
rainbow.
I can see it already.
The rainbow feeling.
Wow.
Yeah. So with workshops and events and panel discussions.
If people gather on that event, what would you love them to feel afterwards when leaving the event?
Yes. So I think especially when people are going through situations like burnout and depression, there is a tendency to completely lose hope, which is part of what it brings. And sometimes, like even there was a phase where I was going to psychologist and I was not getting better. In fact, there were days where I felt like it was making it worse because I had to keep reliving my trauma, So if the only thing that they take away from that event would be that, okay, there are options. There are so many different options and possibilities for me to explore and get back to this wholeness that I'm seeking, to get back to this remembering of who I am deep inside, without the label of all these diseases and everything, then that itself would be great. So they know that there's possibilities and opportunities to become whole, to come back home.
Sneha, thank you very much for our conversation.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciate this. And after hearing my trauma story, you might recognize that I have not had a lot of great experiences with some men in Kerala. So living up like that relationship is something like, I'm always afraid of. But with you, like even in our first conversation, the kind of safe, masculine energy that you brought, I really cherish it. The way in which you're holding this space, also in the pre-talk we had, it's such a welcome change. I wish more women were lucky enough to experience such wonderful, safe humans around, you know.
You're going to make me cry. This wasn't scripted and planned.
Oh, thank you. I had to say it. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you very much. Thank you for spending this time with us. Perhaps something from this conversation is still settling. A perspective, a feeling, or a question that arrives without asking permission. That's often how meaningful change begins. Stories have a way of traveling beyond the moment they're told, finding their way into conversations, quiet decisions, and chapters still unfolding. If someone came to mind while listening, consider sharing this episode with them. And if these conversations continue to resonate, I'd love you to follow Journeys of Empowerment. And if the desire for more clarity, direction and alignment has been quietly growing in the background, there's a space called the Clarity Intensified track, an open door for those moments when reflection begins asking to become movement. Until next time, take this with you gently and see what stays with you. Keep going, keep becoming you.